My presentation today is the double cropping in brackish and some saltwater intrusion areas. There have been unsuccessful attempts encouraging double cropping in monocropping areas for quite a long time. Till today, we have been using these as references. In the 1990s, there is also double cropping during the monsoon season in freshwater areas. And all these, the Department of Agriculture surveys and research have proved to be, we have used these as reference. In the past, farmers who attempted double cropping in brackish areas have failed because they didn't know that indigenous knowledge could be employed to determine freshwater availability. LIFT has provided a 4-month extension on our current project, and we will develop measures for better income per unit area. This is the strategy for double cropping in salt intrusion area. This is the long-term paddy, which when we have to harvest in December. And we have about 180 varieties. If the fresh water is available till January, which is about 180 days, then we need to know when fresh water is available in each location, and this is a safe period. What is the safe period? And in your region, the most important thing to know is that when fresh water is available in your location, which is a safe period, we need to conduct trials with short life varieties of rice and water management within the safe period. There are 3 main measures essential for success. And we use also the first is selection of short life rice varieties, then irrigation according to the lunar calendar, and balancing fertilizer application. The first one is the short life rice varieties. They have different lifespans. In June, July, when we plant and we want to harvest by October, then the second rice should be a short life variety only. The IDE rice we have to observe about the short life rice. In order to have double cropping, we have to use IDE, short life rice IDE, which takes about, lifespan is about 90 days. They have the different terms for the seeds. But the present design is we plant in July and we harvest in October. So we are now planning a double cropping system. In January we plant the first crop. And what about only will the rice only bring us income? What about the other crops? So we can also do the sesame or beans and pulses also. This is what we have earmarked. If we can harvest in January, and by February, by second week, the salt water, the brackish water, salt water will intrude into the areas. So if we can prolong the cover of the intrusion areas, then we can prevent the salinity of those areas. The main thing is it's a traditional calendar. It's a lunar calendar or traditional calendar. It depends on the low tide and high tide. When is a low tide and when is a high tide? When there's a high tide areas, then the 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 high tide, and there are about 30 days of low tide area, Asia, and 9/10 of the month is the lowest tide period. It is the salinity is very low during that time. So after December, if the area has a brackish water, then if we can plant the seeds during the high tide, then we can benefit from that. Then we have to pump through the irrigation. We have to pump, and that has expenses. In January, we have to pump water into these irrigated fields. In Ayavati, where the cultivation mostly happens, you mostly use fertilizers. We use potassium, and we need to insert more fertilizers, and especially for nitrogen and potassium. Last year in 2013 and 14, their research was done in 6 villages of Bogle Township. There are 22 villages. There are 623 households, and also about the data was collected about 3,693, and there was about 40 baskets of rice was collected. And in the brackish areas, then we collected about 48 baskets of paddy. In brackish areas, there are about 250,000 profits, while the salt intrusion areas, they are about 291,000, almost 300,000, and the expenses is about almost 150,000, which was met. The net profit was almost double. So when we use double cropping, then the profits are increased. When we do it, there are a lot of challenges. But the problem is farmers are hesitant to accept the risks associated with double cropping. It can often be difficult to find 1 or 2 lead farmers to adopt the FAS suggestions. So because we wanted double cropping, so they have to try hard to adopt this method. And when they meet with problems, successes, then other small farms will also copy the example, will follow the example. So when we are going to implement this double cropping, we need machinery, small-scale machinery and investment to carry out those double cropping. What I would like to suggest is we need to improve in small embankments in order for water storage, and there should be sluice gates or small water gates. And also, if these we need salt-tolerant paddy varieties. For we need to provide some inputs, fresh seeds, fertilizers, jet pumps, etc. For the first-time adopters, we need to provide fresh seeds, fertilizers, and other machinery. So once they have planted the regular long-term paddy, then other varieties cannot be planted anymore. The farmers cannot use seeds from crops grown in saline soil for the next summer season because rice plants grown in saline soils suffer stress during growth. Farmers also need fresh seeds for the monsoon crop, and then those seeds can be used for the post-monsoon crop. This is the freshwater, brackish and salt intrusion areas in Bogale Township. Done in 2013-2014, and the right side diagram is a 2014-15 plan. It includes 11 village tracts. The green is the freshwater, and the yellow is the brackish, and the red is the saltwater areas. In the fresh, so this is for Bogale Township only. In the same way, in Morjun Township, we have this for the 2013 because the freshwater area is it's little large than the saltwater. There are 5 villages which we are implementing, and now this year we have 14 villages which are experimenting double cropping, and about 7 are in the brackish saltwater areas. So what we are trying to say is so along the main river banks we should implement these double cropping. Thank you very much for your attention.
Today what I would like to present is the Malice current management advice for family farms. So Malice current is the family farms management advice. This is the renovated and innovative extension service for family farm. It is to support family farming development by helping farmers to make the most relevant management decisions. And for them to lay down and to make good decisions, we need to create a good atmosphere for them. So in this case, there are main principles of Malice. So bottom-up approach is very important. Farmers themselves are central to the process, playing an active role in their own development. So they need to have regular dialogue with a consultant, and they also have good understanding of the farm situation. And on the other hand, they should adapt the advice to the farm and farmer's situation, letting the farmer make decisions by himself. And another thing is global approach. The farmers should consider the family farm as a system. Internal features of the farm, technical, socio-organizational, and economic factors should also be considered. And also farm environment, and to facilitate linkages with other actors is also important. And this Malice cycle is a permanent cycle of improvement. So here in this diagram, wherever we are starting, so we can start this. So we need to analyze the current situation. And on the other hand, we should learn lessons, and then we should make decisions. And on the other hand, we should focus, and we should record practices, and then we should analyze recorded information, and then they should have dialogue on analysis findings. So every year the improvement must be significant. This is very important. So in implementing Malice, there are 2 approaches. The first is from individual consultation to collective approach. The first one is we meet with farmer individually and we make individual visits and we dialogue with them and we give them tools. So firstly, we try to understand about the farmers and his situation using the tools, application tools. And on the other hand, the shortage of the human resource is a big barrier for us. That's why we, Malice, try to turn out more local community members who are interested in the activities of Malasaka. So, from this one generation of the member to the second generation of the members, in that case, communication is very important and collective meetings and tools are very important. On the other hand, exchange visits should also be inclusive. The current results for farmers in Myanmar, so within 3 years, we have good results. So the behaviors among the farmers are changed. For example, they increase family interest in better financial management, and on the other hand, considering the economic result of farming activities. So this is one of the behavioral changes. Next is technical changes, the change of variety and compost making. And another way is organizational changes. So optimizing working time and adapting crop calendar, relying on equipment. Furthermore, farmers know more about the economical management changes, including storage strategy and market approach. Networking is also very important, and between farmers but also link with other stakeholders and service providers, the network is made. So what we have to do to have better results, so from the individual to the collective approach, we should make way to collective approach. This will help them collective marketing, purchasing of imports and equipment, and on the other hand, it will enable a precise and reliable understanding of farmers' situation and needs. And also local level services to farmers can be adapted or set up, trainings, financial products and price information, etc. Furthermore, it is going to contribute to the creation of economical references, helping decision-making by donors and also by the government. Providing data to the donors and government is very important, so only then we can extend the rural development. So here are some of the key points of Malasaka management. This is the management advice for family farm. So this is the innovative extension service for family farm, and it is from individual consultation to collective development, and it is based on farmer needs and breaking with top-down habits, and also going beyond technical advice, including economical management. Including socio-economic management. So we try to help them even to make decisions considering their socio-economic situation. So here in 3 areas, we are undertaking our program: Northern Chin State, Ayeyarwady Delta, and Central Dry Zone. So we have altogether 4 to 5 consultants, and we have first generation members. We have a total of 225 generation members. So when we are going to undertake a project in one region, this is the estimated cost. So in one area, we need at least 10 consultants. So from these, each consultant should contact with 15 members. So altogether, 150 members. So from these process, we can have for the total beneficiary 504 5,400 people can be benefited from this. So we do have 10 consultants and 1 supervisor, and in each region we have 120 Malasaka facilitators, and then for the members 1,350. So in that case, for the total cost per year will be more than $36,000 per year. So the cost per beneficiary per year will be $17, and cost per beneficiary per month will be more than $1. So right now, GRET aims at developing the approach in Myanmar. So we have planned to work together with Yizing University and agricultural schools, and also with government staff. And also we are planning to work together with other local NGOs and INGOs working for agricultural development and nutrition. That's all about my presentation. Thank you. And a farmer is going to share his experience on Malasaka. He is a farmer, Dotanta. She has 6 acres of farmland. She's going to share her experience. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm a member of Malasaka. So I engaged in 2013, and I've recorded some statistics for the Malasaka, and I also work together with the consultants every month. So after 10 months, my income, I can realize that my income is not enough, and for a year I need to save 2 more months for my family survival for the whole year. So in that case, I try to think how to cover the cost for my family survival for 2 months. So in that case, I try to think which vegetable will be suitable for me to cover the family cost for 2 months. Now I'm living together with my husband, so we have just a couple. So in that case, sometimes I have to think that whether doing some business or some growing beetle. So I try to grow beetle, and with the consultation of Malasaka, and they teach me how to grow, and they also give me the information about the pilot project which I've already made. So that's why I try to take advice from the Malasaka, and I try to do this. But I have some shortages of land and also capital. I cannot grow beetle because of the capital shortage. So I try to grow some seasonal vegetables, and I also try to sell some local snacks to cover the family expenditure for 2 months. So these 2 months are mostly just after the monsoon period. So at that period, we have already finished our seasonal cultivation. So in that case, mostly we are facing shortage. So every day we need $2. So for these 2 months, I need a lot. So I try to find a proper way to generate income for my family for 2 months. This is because of the help of Malasaka. So previously, I have to take a loan from other person, and and then have to give interest. Right now, it is quite okay because I know about I can expect about my income. So that is the benefit I gain from the Malice account. Thank you very much.
Go to Blaine and the Leprosy Missions International Myanmar. And the main purpose of doing this review is to improve the livelihood, and it is in order to reduce the economy's vulnerability, in which we will be able to provide through the inclusive community-based intervention. And we will make this kind of implementation since 2011, and the beneficiaries who is going to get this from is they are altogether 4,882 households in fish in this account. There will be 30 villages and for the Manly Marine Townships. So we targeted to the 30 villages. And the main of the elements things where we have been able to do this in this VDCs, the activity things what we were involved is like we have to work with it together, in which all of the participants have to be active. And in order to make this thing, as we have a local stakeholder, for the lay stakeholder, they need a lot of the investment, and they are the senior citizens, and they need the investment thing, they need the things. And we will just not target only for the one level at all. We targeted for the all of the local stakeholders, that is in which there we all the ownerships and in which and they can make the decisions making. We will need their participations. And when we make this kind of the project, not all of the only the local stakeholder, but all the peoples who is participating in these projects, they can make the decision also in this thing. And in which we made the more investments in these institutions building and skills, so that we build it of the ownerships also. And in order to build up our skills and things, we make the more of the development sections areas. We made some institutions. There are many like small groups in which we build up that institution, and we make some scholarships from them, from which they will be able to make the leads, and they will be able to perform in the activity, in which their skills has to be played a great role, and in which they need some kind of trainings and qualification. And we also think about how much they will be able to think about in order to build up their fundraising or things. We also think about it, and we also able to we were able to make all of the groups will be participated in this on one local stakeholder institution. And in this village development, and when we select this thing, we also choose in order to build up to improve the livelihood and reduce the economic vulnerability. They really need who will be the beneficiary. We really find out who are the real beneficiary, whether they will be able to cooperate, and whether they will be able to participate in this and the village development committees or not. So we may think about it. In order to find out the beneficiary things, we always make the every year like evaluations and review sections. We made it. And in order to do like this thing, we made the multi-functionality. We do this thing. What are the first priority, what are the beneficial things, the special tasks we need to do. So we made the short-term, long-term, mid-term, and the long-term. And these are the things that the village ones really needed. But if our group cannot be so good do this support or anything, we contact to the infrastructure partisan or responsible person who will be able to get this kind of the helping in this kind of the organization. So we will make there some kind of the link between the other organizations so that they will be able to work within. And in order to have emphasis on the sustainability, and I would like to say that we really based on think on emphasis on the sustainability, and we about cooperation and the leadership skill is really helpful, and what kind of the funds they already get it based on their funds, that how we'll be able to implement and empowerment for that thing. We also think about it in. And when we order to make this kind of the village development communities like that, in order to have a sustainability, we on to the township level, we made a small community, and that's also we work with the collaboration with the local authorities. In order to do this with the local authorities, we will go to the respect area like state regional levels, like state levels, and we were able to do, and we will make some level stamp in this village development community, and in which the last and every month we make meetings, and after this meeting we make the decisions, and local authority persons they also provide some kind of the technical advisors and the fields investigating, and they were able to support a lot of in their village development. After all of the villages projects was done, they were able to communicate with this other organization. So by doing this in the 4 years projects from 2001 to 2014, what we got this thing is that we were able to reduce the poverty and the economic vulnerability, and by having the cooperation with the community and identification of beneficiary, we were able to build the community inclusions, and we were able to have in having the cooperations reinforced within the local authorities. And in this kind of the things like where we got it got the information is that there are many some kind of the poverty as well as the vulnerability, that is the decrease amongst vulnerable category in fish from the 26.3% to the 14.92%, representing a reduction of 43.3% from the baseline. So this is the observations from the other stakeholder. And this is the lady, she is the Dominata, that is she is the ARL, and she is ages 57 years old. Before the project, that she doesn't have a chance to do anything. Her husband was fall down from the palm tree, and he has been disabled, and he has been struggling a lot of it. She doesn't know how to do the walls, how to survive in this world. She doesn't have any capital to invest in their life, so to render this thing, and she's trying to do like some kind of the plantation projects in her own house nearby way, and when they will have some kind of the funding process, and then she will also plant some kind of the vegetable fruit things, and later on that she also have in the other project areas. So these are the one of the cases areas that we got it. And in the category of the community inclusion and the cohesion reinforced, we also get the many soft benefits from the objects that was get it from the community. They will be able to provide and pay attention to the vulnerable groups, and they also will be able to listen to the women and the senior citizens and the disabled persons. What are their real requirements? What are their responsibility, and what are the accountability? And that's they also be known, and they were able to provide these things, the raisings of the women's rights and womanship. That is from the final Eastern evaluation. And this is the VDC President Madam Mama Khan from the AR. Bulata village, she said that what she said in this code is the women played very participate actively in all this VDC's method. This is the case study that we have been done it. And the main thing is you can see this comment that's we got it from them. But the main thing is that we got it. We publishing. We're able to go there, provide the women who is disabled, and also the disabled peoples and some of the family member. Before they had the project, people think that the older peoples and the poor people with the disabilities are not pay attention at all. They didn't pay attention, so now they got it. And concerning with the communities and authority links, before this or prior to the project, the villages had no direct access to the government's officials. But within this project, we were able to help them to have navigate the cooperations. And within this project, in order to make the integrations and actions plan, when we try to find out their real basics need, we found based on our short-term, the mid-term, and long-term sectors, we were able to help to the government's area, and they began to build up the trust in this and by themselves, and then they were able to ask what are their real needs and what kind of support they needed from the government official. These are the things that within these 4 years we got this. They were able to get their own confidence about this ability to manage their own development, demonstrating to the government this ability. And within these 4 years, that is not only we made a lot of the projects in the. This is really helpful. Whatever kind of the projects that you were doing in order to build and think about the village development program, this is really helpful. And I would like to appeal that we will be trying our level best, and we also request all of the peoples to participation in it. In my conclusion, in order to finish this kind of the projects within these 4 years, and I would like to request all of the local authority person as well as the funds from the getting from the I'm really thankful for all of you. Thank you so much.